know. Saturday morning in the fish room. Again, I'm up early even though I'm on staycation. And I started adding some tanks. Last night I drilled 3 tanks and set up my bulkheads, drilled my holes, and this morning I came down, I added this drain tube, which I cut just a C hair too short, and come to find out that when I started draining, actually what I did was this drain tube looked a little too long, and it looked like it was backing up over here. So I shut the water off, I let it drain down, I took this out, I cut a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch off, and put it back in. And no matter what I do, it kind of slows down here, but then when I go look to this hole or this hole, and especially down here, you can see how close that water is to the top. I took my sock off thinking maybe I had cut it too short and was restricting the water somehow, but I'm not. So this 2-inch pipe that I thought was going to be plenty big really isn't. The other thing is that ball valve is a waste. Because if I shut that off, it just outflows from these holes. So that was poor planning on my part. So now I have to figure out a second drain, which I haven't really planned for. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to hang it from here. You know, resting up against the back of the tanks maybe? I don't know. I don't know. This tank looks like it's a little full, so I will shut some water off to it and let it drain better. Alright, well, I'll see what I can figure out today. The great thing about having concrete floors in the basement, where it's actually quite warm, is in about 2 hours this water will be gone. It's really not that much water, but alright, I'll check back later. Alright, it's really like about 10 minutes later, and here's my temporary fix, at least until I can figure out how I want my drain. I took these 2 tubes, which are over here, I extended them and have them drain right into the sump like these. And the reason I did that is just to alleviate some of the outflow. Not sure if the pipe isn't big enough or just my hoses were long and it was blocking the flow. I think it's probably a combination of both, but I'm not really sure. So this isn't the best solution because there's very little mechanical filtration. It's just the sponge in there, of course. There's nothing in this tank. This tank does have 4 large angels that are temporary until I can drill that tank, but you know, this one just has fry in it, so you can see all the fry in the front maybe. A little glare. I don't know if you can see them, but there's some red guppy fry in there. Anyway, this has seemed to alleviate my problem. I'm going to go ahead and fill those 3 tanks, at least one at a time, and see how it goes. Let me just give you a quick tip about this tubing here. Wherever you buy it, I buy mine from Gemco because John's a real nice guy and it's pretty cheap. Anyway, here's kind of how it goes on. If you just try to squeeze it on and it's an awkward position or it's hard, you know, you're putting stress on the glass, on the bulkhead, which puts stress on the glass. So I don't really try to push it on too much, but what I do is I take my soldering iron here, I take the soldering tip off so it's just a torch, like this, and I just heat up the end of the tube. Makes it real soft, and then it, you know, slides on like butter. Now taking this off, you'd probably have to cut that to take it off without breaking the bulkhead. I mean breaking the glass, putting so much stress on the bulkhead, but I don't plan on taking it off. If I redo this drain and I put it back here, I'll just cut it the right length. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm not really sure. Anyway, so that's what I did. That's the update for now. I might come back later. I might not. I do have plans today to run around with the family, so I'm not sure if I'll get it back to an update. All right. Oh, I lied. I do have something else to update you. Move, puppy. My buddy, the optometrist, I think, actually. He makes glasses. He's actually a regional manager for a company. But at any rate, he handed me this tool, which I forgot what he said it was called, but essentially there's an LED light in here, and these two lenses are, you can see how it changes color. They're polarized, and you're supposed to be able to see the stresses in tempered glass. And I checked with my eyeglasses, and I saw it, and I checked this tank, which I know is not tempered because I already drilled it, and it's not tempered. And I checked this tank, and it did not appear to be tempered. However, my research has shown that most 37 gallons, or every 37 gallon I've looked at, is tempered. It's missing a brace here. Looks like they cut it out, and if you look real closely here, it also looks like they cut it out, which would indicate it was more than likely tempered. However, when you look at the side of the glass, that's pretty thick right there, right? I mean, that's pretty thick. And there's no bottom plastic. I don't know if there ever was a bottom plastic. I got this tank for free 156 years ago. I think I told the story, but I was looking at Craigslist, free to a good home, 10-gallon tank and 2 small fish, and there was like a 12-inch pleco in here and a molly or something. Maybe it was a platy. Platy didn't make it in transfer. I gave the pleco to my local fish store, and I took the tank, and it actually was sitting in my garage for about 6 years. So I cleaned it and had some angels in it. All right, so according to this fancy doohickey, it's not tempered, but I'm actually going to have my buddy come over and take a look just to make sure. There's an LED light in here that shines light up, and the LED light is bad. It only comes on, it like blinks sometimes, so I just use my phone flashlight as a light. All right, that's the update for now. I may come back later. If not, I'll see you another time. All right, update number 3 of the day. And they're not live, but pretty much right after I figure it out and I implement the change, we're good. So in this drain system, it starts there and it slopes down, and there's a, for every 8 feet it has to be an inch, or there's some code and actually some, rule for flow. I don't know what it is. But I know that no matter how much run I have and how much drop I have, I actually have a set amount of space. So my run really is this long, that's it. It's roughly 16, 14, probably about 15 feet long. So whether it's, up here to down there, it drops 1 inch or 2 inch or 3 inches, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get higher over there, and my sump is always going to be there, so it doesn't really matter how much I drop it as long as it's enough. However, because I have other things tied into this pipe, when I make a change, it's a symbiotic relationship. So what I did to help the flow over here is I raised this. I raised this 1 more notch, and I got my flow going great. And as I get to here, I notice it's slowing up a little bit. And then, but when I look over there, it's not. Fine. So this is actually a fixed point because I made my rack too low, which we talked about before. And I think this is stopping it a little bit, blocking it up a little bit. So I may take the straps down there and drop them one. But I don't actually think I can do that because the outflow pipe at the end of that at the end of that 90 is resting on the frame of the sump. So I did kind of make a mess here, doing some changes, but if you look here, you can see that, I don't know how far you into it, the water is only about halfway up that pipe. But if we look here, it's about 3/4 up that pipe. So I took this hose and I moved it out a little bit. There's a lot of water coming out of that one. This is my angel grow out tank for what I'm hoping to breed. So I want the freshest water possible. So I put a lot of water in. As soon as a lot of water comes out. You know, and then over here, the water's fine. The water's fine. And here's where it kind of backs up. And I think it's actually backing up because of this. So I don't know what I'm going to do. This goes to show you when you plan a fish room and you build a rack, make sure you really think of everything. And I thought I did, but I didn't. So, alright, that's an update for now. See ya. Alright, another update from Saturday. I decided I'm going to not risk it with that 37. Even my tests say it's not tempered, but everything I read and the guy I trust on my local fish store says it's more than likely it's tempered, and I don't want to try it. So I don't want to ruin another tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain this 30. I'm going to put that 37 here, and I'm going to get a small pump that I will put on a timer. I don't know if I'm going to put it on a timer. I may just do manual water changes with that pump since I have water going to it. It's really not that big a deal. I'll have cycled filters are ready to go put it in, like that filter is cycled because it was hooked up to the system, and the system is cycled. I tested my water yesterday, 0010. My pH was a little high, about 7.4, 7.6, which is a little higher than usual. It's usually 7.2. Not really concerned. All my fish seem like they're doing well. My only question is, will my rams breed in water with that pH? I get conflicting reviews online, so I don't know if I talked about it, but I did get some almond leaves. There's one there on the side. There's one near that driftwood right there. I want to put some. I haven't sunk yet in my 20-gallon tank with one Betta in it that I had at work. Look how dirty that bottom is. But his color came back within 12 hours of me bringing him home. So I don't know if I told the story, but I had two Bettas at work in two separate tanks, 2.5 and a 5 or 6 gallon tank, and they were doing great. And 3 weeks ago, the other Betta I had started losing color and stopped eating, and he died. So a couple days after he died, that Betta up there, his name is Colin McRae, after the Subaru rally driver who passed away, he stopped eating and was losing his color. So I don't want to lose any more fish, so I brought him home. I think maybe at work, I work in an office building, maybe they did some cleaning with some chemicals or cleaned the carpets or something, and it affected the fish. There's nothing I think of. I've had fish at work for the last 7-8 years, and occasionally you would lose a fish, but nothing major. You know, nothing like this. All of a sudden you come in one day and a guppy's dead, or, you know, one, not everything. So because it affected both, I think it was environmental. But that's that. So I'm probably going to move him to one of these 10 gallons. Oh, the almond leaves. I read online and I watched some of Miss Jinx's videos that almond leaves have some healing properties and antibacterial and blah blah blah, and figured I'd try it. I got this bag on Amazon. They're medium size, 50 leaves in there. I think it was, I don't know, 12 or 13 bucks. It was the cheapest price I found. And this is like the name brand of Catoppa leaves or almond leaves. It does turn the water, you know, it does have tannins and it does turn the water brown. I don't really mind it. If it makes my fish happy and it helps them breed or helps them heal, more power to them. Hey, look, my little pleco was out. That guy was in the tank with my Betta at work also. He did a great job cleaning up. Everyone loved him. If you can know what kind he is, please let me know. I think I bought him as a clown, but I don't really know. I love the white on his tail. So Corey from Aquarium Co-op, if you're watching this and you can tell me what that is, that would be lovely. All right, maybe another update later, maybe not. See ya. All right, I'm back. What I simply did was take this off, push this down a little bit, which gave a little bit more room here. And it's better. It's not right at the top now. It's about 3/4. So I'm going to leave that for now. I have the 3 new tanks up and running. I have to go to my LFS and pick up some sponge filters. A little more expensive than if I bought them on Amazon. I don't do eBay because PayPal can... I won't say. I'm not a big fan of PayPal. Let's put it that way. So I don't do eBay. But Amazon Prime, free shipping, blah 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 is awesome. So for those tanks, I really want these filters, which are like $3 or $4 on Amazon. But my local fish store, actually not my local fish store, another local fish store has smaller than this, but this style sponge filter, pretty cheap. So I'm gonna go pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 or 6 up, just so I have 1 or 2 extra. I do have one left in the sump. That blue one right there, just to the left of that soda bottle. That's part of a coldness, K1 coldness reactor, but it can only go in tall tanks. So it'll go in that one if I ever drill that. Alright, hopefully that might be the last update for the day. I doubt it. I'll be back, I'm sure. See ya.